Greetings one and all. It is us live from our studio, and we wanted to talk to you all about a different project that we've worked on and have kind of worked on for a while, right?
A little bit, yeah.
And it's not us suddenly saying that we're not doing drum and bass anymore, but we are heavily influenced by a lot of different types of music. And as part of the creative process when we make the music that you know as Technimatic, that is fed by a lot of other genres of music, one of which is house. And a lot of the time when we're writing sketches or putting ideas together, we'll experiment with other tempos just to give us a bit of a clearer perspective on Technimatic, the drum and bass version. So this is the Diversions EP.
Yes, it is 8 tracks of house music that we've made. 4 tracks by you, 4 tracks by me. And this started out a little bit of a while ago, and it started out when you, I think, sent me a little sketch of a house tune, and you said something along the lines of, you know, in between tracks, you know, we were probably in between projects. You said, you know, I just made this little thing, what do you reckon? And it was really, really good. And I was like, hold on a minute. You know, this is fantastic. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Like, you know, with these tunes, they start out as those ideas of like, okay, you know, we write a lot of drum and bass. I need something to just clear my brain and think in a different way and be creative in a different way. And then obviously, before we knew it, you know, as you say, I'd had these tunes that I sent to you. We even incorporated some of the tunes off this EP in earlier flow state mixes.
Yes, we did, yep.
And now these tracks have also been featured in more recent flow state mixes. And we were like, okay, is there some kind of mileage in me taking those sketches that I've already got, you then adding to those, and us then putting them out?
Yeah.
But obviously, because we are known as drum and bass artists, it's a tricky sell to say, okay, we're going to put house tunes on a Technimatic album.
Yeah.
Now, there's nothing obviously wrong with doing that, but for us, we just feel like it would distract too much away from what we're trying to do. It's never felt like they would fit well on an album as such.
And also, you know, we've spoken endlessly about our love of LTJ Bookham, how much LTJ Bookham and Good Looking Records has influenced us. And in the sort of late 90s into the 2000s, he did a project called Earth, which was ostensibly all of the artists on Good Looking Records just making different tempo music. So you had Bookham on there, you had Blue Martin and Artemis and Blame, and they did all this incredible kind of instrumental hip hop and broken beat, and we've always loved those projects massively. We've included a lot of those tunes on flow state mixes as well. And so the beauty of having an independent label these days is we thought, well, hold on, we can do that as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it started developing from.
So that is essentially the Diversions EP. It's us kind of putting those sounds into a different tempo, different format. 4 from you, 4 from me. So while we're here in the studio, we thought it would be really nice to go through some of the house records that have influenced us, that have obviously added into the Technimatic drum and bass sound, but have also added into Technimatic the house sound, I guess. Talk about them.
Yeah, because as Andy says, you know, we've we've been influenced by huge amounts of music outside of drum and bass. You know, we've always felt that if all you listen to is drum and bass, then the drum and bass you make is just going to be, it's just going to sound like everyone else. And so we listen to a huge amount of music outside of the D&B sphere. House has played a huge role in our lives for years and years and years. And so, yeah, we've built up a bit of a collection of our favourite tunes, and yeah, it'd be nice to just play through a few of those and yeah, tell people about the ones we're passionate about and yeah, how they play a role in our lives, I guess.
Totally.
Right, house records. So we've already got a nice little selection out here. Let's go for...
Oh, yes.
This one to begin with. Now, it's a fun record, this one, because it's a bootleg, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so this, in fact, I'm gonna...
Rushing through my veins. No, I just might die. Overtaken by the heart.
So this is by an artist that we both love.
Yes.
Think. I got a couple of cool stories about this sort of that relate to this record.
Yeah.
The first is that the first time I ever heard this tune was when we were in Romania, the infamous Romania-Bulgaria gig.
Yes.
Where, like, for those of you that don't know, we basically got driven from Romania to Bulgaria to play a show. There was a driver who was the dad of the promoter in Bulgaria. As we were traveling across from Romania to Bulgaria, he got pulled out of the car by the police. We were left on our own in the car in the middle of like the Romanian tundra with no phone signals, thinking we were going to die. That's essentially the story. But anyway, when he got back in the car,
Yeah.
you gave me your earbuds and you said, get inside this for a minute.
Really?
Yeah, and I put the earbuds in, it was this record,
Wow.
right? So now we're going through kind of like the Romanian tundra with this on. That, for me, which you don't know, started a love affair with Fink, for me. Wow. So I then started to like investigate all of Fink's albums, all this kind of stuff. And then when we did that For All of Us show at Earth, the week before, me and my wife, Lenka, went to see Fink live in the upstairs theatre.
That's amazing.
So that's kind of, you know.
Yeah. I mean, this is an edit by a guy called Marcus Wargle. I don't think it's an official remix, let's put it like that. I mean, there's no information on the record, there's no information on the sleeve. But yeah, both of you and I are big fans of his. We actually tried to get him on a record once. Do you remember? This might have been around Desire Path's time.
Yes.
We actually got in contact with him. We sort of swapped a few emails, but then it just didn't work out.
Didn't happen.
Gutting.
But a lot of influence to us by Fink, big up Fink. Beautiful voice, beautiful style of music, and I mean, this is just...
Now, choices. I mean, there's one in here. I can't not play this, really.
Okay.
This is Pepe Braddock, Burning, which could possibly be my favourite house tune of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Let's have a little listen. Ooh.
Ah.
So this tune, for me, is like the absolute ultimate masterclass in less is more.
Yes.
It's essentially just a string sample, which I believe is Freddie Hubbard from the tune Little Sunflower. And it just grows and retracts and goes up and goes down and opens and closes over about 7 minutes. And that's all it does.
Yeah.
And yet it is just incredible.
But I don't know about you as well. I sort of feel like with this record, that like filtered string sample and the way it kind of drifts in and out, that is so Technimatic.
Oh, mate.
Like there's clearly a massive influence, like subconsciously to us from that record that's fed into Technimatic, right?
100%.
You can hear it.
Yeah.
You can hear it.
You know, we have filtered strings on so many of our tunes.
Yeah.
And to get that kind of warmth and sort of release that it creates on tunes, it's just one of the classic things to do in dance music. And this track does it better than probably ever, any tune ever. Yeah, it's just wonderful.
Great record, man. Sick. Right, let's go for another little beauty. Crazy P. Never Gonna Reach Me. Hot Toddy remix, which you were saying just before I chose it, is actually Hot Toddy's part of.
Yeah, he's in Crazy P. Yeah.
Okay, let's get a bit of this on.
Disco.
Oh. Now, what to say about Crazy P? There was, when we were in the process of making Desire Paths,
Yeah.
Crazy P put out an album called When We On.
Yes.
It's the kind of white one with the black circle and the... I mean, I was obsessed with that album.
Yeah.
So there's no question that during the making of Desire Paths, Crazy P's music was filtering into my own sort of creative compost hill.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And obviously Danielle Moore's voice, I mean, it's iconic, you know, tragically no longer with us. But there's something about her vocals that, again, I can just hear so much influence in Technimatic. It's a beautiful record, this.
And they're clearly, you know, they're drawing from a lot of the similar well as we do in terms of jazz and funk and soul.
Yeah.
And they do it, I mean, as good as anyone. And this remix, I mean, I think this remix is about 12 minutes long. And it is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, what a great record, man. Big up Crazy P.
Each time. Yeah, okay. So this is obviously a massive house record, but it's got to be done. So this is Everything But the Girl versus Soul Vision. It's called Tracy in My Room. I can't work out exactly the mechanics of, it was originally an Everything But the Girl tune, but then the instrumental was an independent house track, and then someone decided to just put them together.
Right. Oh, right, okay.
But this build-up...
So good, isn't it?
is one of the best build-ups in dance music. And, you know, when we're putting tunes together, to get that euphoric build-up before a drop, I mean, this is what you aim for.
Yes.
You know, just... Oh, it's like hairs on the back of the neck kind of stuff. And do you know what? I went to Ibiza a couple of times, and I was very lucky enough to hear this tune in Pasha. And my days, when it builds and there's like 1,000 people in there and they know it, just the intensity of that build-up is just absolutely incredible. But the beauty of this record is it's got that huge euphoric build-up, but then it just drops into just this deep tune, which is kind of like what we do.
Totally, and then also like the way that her vocal doesn't come in immediately. That's often a big marker of Technimatic records.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
The tune drops, and then it's not until another 16 bars later that you get her kind of kick in.
Yeah.
I mean, for me as well, like this record, it just is Ibiza. Like every bit of the sonic kind of choice on this, I'm just imagining being in Ibiza.
Yeah.
You know, everything that comes with it. It's
yeah, it is sunshine in a record.
Great record, man.
But also, there's something about it, and I don't know if you agree with this, but it's uplifting, but it's also melancholy.
Yes.
It's kind of happy and sad at the same time.
Definitely.
And I think that's always something that we've not necessarily tried to create, but I think it does often come out in our music.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, just one of the great records.
Awesome. Okay, another record. Now, this I remember really fondly because it was around the time we'd moved south from up north a few years later, and my dad got Sky installed.
Fancy.
Right? It is, of course, Stardust Music Sounds Better With You, and the reason the Sky story is relevant is because I then had access to MTV, and I remember seeing this video and being like, what, this is crazy. So.
I mean.
What? So, the thing about this record as well is, so, the video is a little boy, and he's watching like a sort of a made-up version of MTV in the corner.
Yeah.
And on MTV, every day when he wakes up and he gets out of bed, he sticks the telly on, and Stardust, who, as we know, is essentially Daft Punk, or one half of Daft Punk.
One half of Daft Punk and Alan Brax.
That's right. So basically, on this made-up version of MTV in the corner, the boy is sat making a model aeroplane. And every day he puts the telly on, and Stardust are at like number 6, and they're going through the chart on the TV. By the time he gets to the end of the video, Stardust is number 1 with Music Sounds Better With You, and he's finished the aeroplane, and he's kind of flying this big model aeroplane across the fields. Now, I was quite young at the time, so even just seeing that video, I was just like, wow, this is so cool. But again, you know, we've spoken about it before. It's the beauty of house music, right? It's repetition, because that riff it's just never changing. Yet it doesn't. You never get bored by it. It's funky.
Yep.
It's uplifting. It's just, oh man, everything. I love everything about this record.
Little Shaka Khan sample.
Yeah.
The most amazing thing for me as well, and I, you know, it was Thomas Mangolta and Alan Brax, and they made this one tune together.
Yeah.
And it absolutely went stratospheric.
Yes.
And I think I'm right in saying that afterwards, they were offered thousands and thousands of pounds by major labels to like, you've got to do an album, you've got to do more tunes.
Right.
You've got to do this as Stardust.
Right.
And they said, no, we're not going to do that.
Amazing.
They were just like, no, this is Stardust.
Of course, whether or not though Thomas was in the process of doing stuff as Daft Punk at that point.
He absolutely was, yeah. But just the thought of, I just love the integrity of it.
Yeah, amazing.
You know?
Amazing. Yeah, great record, man. Iconic.
So I want to play this one because it's a white label and that's fun.
Yeah.
This is by Moody Man. Now, what speed is it? That's a good question. Yeah, it's this speed. So this record, Moody Man, legendary Detroit producer, DJ. I like to think of him as sort of the caliber of house and techno.
Okay. Yeah, okay, right.
Because he's just been doing it forever. I think you could argue sort of under the radar of most sort of big house music. But he's got such a fervent, devoted fan base who basically think he's God. He's quite sort of secretive, mysterious.
Like it.
And this record just sort of exemplifies everything he's about, right? So it starts off and it's got this odd kind of, you think it's building somewhere, and then it carries on, and then it's got this
what's
kind
going
of
on?
field recording of like a conversation, and you're like, when is this tune gonna drop? And it carries on, and it carries on, and it carries on, and you're like, what is happening here? And then
what a groove. What a groove, man.
And he's just the guy, he's the guy. Jazz, funk, soul. I mean, he just puts it into his music in such a pure, authentic way. I just love everything he's about. And I just love, you know, we talked about authenticity with one of the other tunes, and yeah, he is authenticity personified. Moody Man, legend.
When you listen to this EP, you will hear the Technimatic sound, but it's just at, 120 BPM, 130 BPM. It's not, it's what, I mean, for us, it's going to be really fascinating to see what you all make of it, because hopefully it is that sound, but just at a different tempo.
Yeah.
So the same kind of emotive, everything we try and say in our music, but just at a different, sort of packaged differently. It just felt like, look, we don't want these tunes to just die on hard drives and never be heard by anybody. It would be really nice to get this out into the world.